Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Beyond the Barclay with me, Jez Davies. I am joined this week with Izzi Basie Fisher. Hello, Izzi. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
And you can hear me now, can you? Is that
Yes.
all right? Come to that. Just for everyone else watching, we did have some audio difficulties just before we came on. So luckily, Izzi can hear me. Izzi, talk to us a little bit about the women's game yesterday that we went to. What was or how did it
So
go?
we played Luton Town, but I want to say they're like 7th or 8th, so it was sort of maybe a game coming into it from a fan's perspective that were hoping to come away with the 3 points, but it was a tough game. Early goal, first half, but not many chances. But I'm gonna blame the pitch and the facilities, because the pitch was on a massive hill and it was very bubbly and bumpy and muddy and things. So obviously second half turnaround, similar situations, pitch getting worse, and Luton got lucky with a free kick. Good goal from the free kick. Arguably wouldn't say it was a free kick, but inevitably come away with a point. It's another point towards the league. And looking at it from a fan's perspective, it's not too bad, because obviously Fulham have also dropped the points. So just another game and we'll just sort of move on from it.
No, absolutely. And today we're talking to one of the players who played on that mountain of a pitch yesterday, Natasha Snelling. I'm absolutely delighted to be able to introduce Tash to the show. Hi, Tash. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, not at all. Thanks for coming on. I mean, perhaps if you'd just like to introduce yourself, how long you played for Norwich for, perhaps what you do outside of football as well.
Yeah, so I've been playing for Norwich City now since I checked last night, and I think I signed in 2013.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is massive. But prior to me actually signing for the women's first team, I was part of their PDC. And believe it or not, I used to play in goal. So when I was 6 years old, up until I was 16, I actually played in goal. So yeah, went through the player development centre with them, and then left, and then went to like some grassroots teams, Heverset, Coltishall, and then joined Norwich, and then I've been there ever since, really.
Fantastic. I think it's great actually talking to someone that's played for that long, because you'll be able to actually talk to us through how Norwich has adapted, evolved over those years, and women's football as a whole, actually, as how that's come on leaps and bounds. And I came to the game yesterday as well that we were talking about at the start, and it was just an absolute pleasure to watch. And I'll take my little boy along, because it's his first involvement in watching football, and he enjoys it. All the girls are great, and come up and speak to the fans at the end. And Izzi covers the games for us as well, week to week. So yeah, it's really good. So we're going to jump into some of the questions that we've set you. So sort of start at the beginning then. So how did you first fall in love with football, and what's the journey been like getting to Norwich City Women? Obviously you mentioned some of those clubs already.
Yeah, like I said, so I started football when I was about 6 years old. Just used to play with like my dad and stuff. He was a massive fan of Norwich and massive fan of football, so that really got me involved. And then back then they didn't really have many girls teams, so I was just playing like mixed teams or with boys teams, playing at school. And then I finally found a girls team, which was West Norwich, and that was all my friends played for, and we were a good little team, good little setup. And like I said, I played in goal for them right up until I was 16 years old, because then you could move into like ladies football. And it got to 16 and I was like, well, I want to be scoring goals instead of saving goals. So yeah, randomly just thought, right, I'm just going to come out and straight into ladies football, but I'm going to go as a striker. So I was like a number 10, so sitting like just behind the number 9. So yeah, went and played for Coltishall, went and played for Heverset, which like just like local teams. And then I always wanted to go and play for Norwich. That was obviously the end goal. And obviously being in that setup, like the PDC, and being around the environment, that was like the end goal for me. So I went and trialled for Norwich, and I think I played a couple of games with the reserves team, and then just moved up to the first team. And then I've been there ever since, and I started as a number 10 at Norwich, and then moved into the number 9 position, and haven't really looked back, really.
I mean, who were some of the players and the managers, coaches, etc. during that time and that process that you could probably look back on and go, they really helped me along my way? And would you be prepared to perhaps give them a little shout out?
Yeah, so I would say Chris Boulderstone was my. Well, if we start with the first one, it was Steve Groom. He was my manager at West Norwich, and he was an incredible coach. He developed me magnificently as a keeper. Gave me a lot of confidence in football, because I think that's what you need at that young age. You need confidence. And then, going into college football and then playing for Heverset, Chris Boulderstone, he was another great coach I had. He then obviously developed me from a keeper into a striker, taught me what I need to be doing and give me good awareness of what a striker role does entail. And then when I joined Norwich, I had Scott Emerson.
Okay.
And I had Scott for a few years. So when I first started Norwich, I had Scott for several years, and again, he developed me as a player. And I was a number 10, and he obviously then changed me into a number 9. And then I've had several different coaches while I've been at Norwich, and I think I could be here all day and naming each one that have developed me and give me that great confidence, really.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there's been several, really.
Excellent. Okay, well, Izzy's been very quiet, so I'm going to ask her to move on to question 2, please, Izzy.
Okay. So when you look back, so far, what moments in your football career have made you most proud?
I think from when I first started, and how big the women's game has grown. So yeah, for example, when we used to turn up and we used to bring our own kit, or we used to bring our own sandwiches for our team and the opposition team, or we used to wait for a flower show to finish on the pitch before we could then play. Just seeing that develop to then playing at Carrow Road in front of thousands of fans is just incredible. So I think that must be the proudest moment for me, to be still involved. And I get to experience what kind of the young ones get to experience now, because back then I never had any of that. So yeah, and I think that must be just the proudest moment for me, because I've been there, and with us pushing and saying we need this and we need that, young generations are coming through, and they're now getting to experience what I did back then. So I think that is probably the proudest moment for me in football and my career.
Currently, I suppose you find yourself fighting for promotion. How do you think it would make you feel to finally get out of this league and maybe push into Tier 3?
Yeah, and that's always been kind of the end goal for me. It'd be incredible if I'm coming to the end of my career as such. I don't know how many years I've got left. Might be 1, might be 2, might be 3. We never know. But the end goal for me is to get promoted, because I think Norwich City ladies deserve to be in that league above. I think we've worked hard, especially in the last couple of years. The growth of the club has been magnificent. And I think that is where we belong. We do need to be pushing on the leagues. And it's so hard to get out of this Tier 4, especially with only one team that goes up. And luckily this year they've got a playoff as well. We obviously want to go up as champions, and that is our main goal. We're not looking at the playoffs, but we have got that to fall back on if need be. But yeah, I think Norwich City Women definitely deserve to be in the league above.
Yeah. Would you maybe say that perhaps this year's second place playoff is a bit of a lifeline from last year's second places, perhaps?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the last couple of years we've finished second, haven't we? And we've had such a great season. We've just lacked in maybe a bit of concentration now and again in some games. But yeah, like I said, we want to push on as champions, and that is our end goal, and that is the only thing we're concentrating on. But if we don't manage to get champions, we have got that playoffs position that we will be pushing for.
Yeah. Are there any teams maybe in the southwest that you fancy in the playoff?
To be fair, I think they're all pretty good, so it's quite hard to determine on which one you find, I don't know, which is going to be more of a challenging game. But I think as a playoffs, it doesn't really matter. It's like a cup game. Anything can happen in a playoff game. Anything can happen in a cup game. So we just need to worry about ourselves. And as long as I said before, as long as we turn up on the day and perform how we do perform, I think we can beat most teams. I really do.
Fantastic. This young lady's got a future, by the way, Tash, in sports media. So look out for her when you go into management in your later. She'll be there on the sideline giving you the giving you the post match interview. So
Yeah.
very 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 proud of her on this channel. We are anyway. So question 3. So anyone listening who hasn't seen you play, actually I had the pleasure of doing that yesterday. How would you describe yourself as a player, and what should fans expect from you on the pitch?
I think I'm an all-rounder type of player. I've been referred to as kind of the fox in the box. There's been several different scenarios where the minute the ball comes in the box, like I'm always on the end of it. I'll always make sure like I'm running in the box, getting a toe on it or anything. So yeah, that's my kind of play really, just making sure I'm on the end of the crosses that come into the box.
Yeah.
It's a bit difficult yesterday. The pitch was horrendous. Even to get crosses in was difficult.
No, 100%. And I mean, at the times I've seen you play, I think the best moment I saw from you was either the last game of the season, the Carrow Road game last season or the Carrow Road game this season, where I think your awareness of Holly Kennard, I think it was that scored, but you didn't even have to look. You knew she was there. So it was almost your intelligence to just, you know, and also you were unselfish as well. A lot of strikers would go for the shot, and actually in that situation it was the right thing not to go for the shot, and you put the ball across, and it was an easy tap in for Holly. But I think from what I've seen of you, this is only a few games that I've seen, I think you're very intelligent. You clearly know how to hold the ball up, bring other players into play like Freya and is it Eloise King? Is it yeah, she's class as well, by the way.
She is definitely.
But no, I think that's what I've seen from you when you play. I mean, do you keep track of the amount of goals that you score? I mean, I think Izzy's done some research, but do you keep track of the amount of goals you scored? Any particular favourites?
No, I think I'd like to know, and I think before I retire, I'd like to know how many goals I've actually scored for Norwich, and if there's a stat where I can find out. I have spoke to Alex, and I said I'll give you the task of finding out how many appearances I've done for Norwich and how many goals I've scored, because it'd be good to have that stat. I think last season I finished on a high. I scored quite a few goals. This season's a little bit different. It's nice to share it out and just score late minute winners, which is fine as well. But yeah, I don't really keep a track on how many I score. All I worry about is us getting the 3 points, and if it's me scoring or someone else scoring, I don't mind, honestly, as long as we win the game, and hopefully we get promoted this year. That's all I worry about.
I suppose I'll hit you with the stats then.
Go on then.
Go on.
I obviously did my research, and I'm gonna trust myself and my dad for covering the seasons. But we actually think you've scored bang on 100 as of today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, so lovely.
We were both like, oh, maybe we should have a bit of a celebration at the Nest next week. But
yeah,
good
speak to
stats
Alex.
the time you've been at the club.
Yeah. Wow.
That's incredible.
I've done your research.
You should have said 99
to
give her the carrot to get the 100th goal last week, and then everyone could have gone crazy. I think there was one goal in particular this season that I saw, which was your goal against Stevenage, and that again showed when you talk about being the fox in the box and knowing where to stand and knowing where, almost having that instinct of knowing where the ball's going to land.
Yeah.
You can't buy that from a striker, really, and I think Andy must be. Well, and your teammates must be absolutely delighted to have someone of your ability and prowess to be able to do that, really. So, yeah, no, it's really, really good. Izzy, I think we should perhaps move on to the next question.
I suppose we've almost sort of covered this one already, but we'll keep with it. So, women's football has grown massively in recent years. What changes have you seen firsthand, and what do you think still needs to be improved?
I think I've kind of mentioned it already, like from turning up to a game when your mum has washed your kit and you just pick some sandwiches, and you've got to kind of bring that for yourself, your team and the opposition, to food's provided for. And I know there's the little things as well, but little things like your kit is all laid out when you go into the change rooms, or food's provided for, or even looking at the facilities we get to use now. Like back then we were training at Long Stratton on the 3G, like the centre there, to now training at the Colney. So massive changes from out the time that I've been at Norwich, which is incredible, really. I think there is still a long way to go in terms of women's football if you compare it to men's football. I think especially anyone in our league and above should automatically have health insurance. I think that's one of the main things that every club should do for their players. Obviously everyone has, especially at our level, most people have like different jobs, like a full-time job. So I think a little bit of health insurance from each club just gives that player a bit more protection.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think in terms of women's football, I think it still has a long way to go, but it's definitely going in the right direction, 100%.
Yeah, I suppose from a fan's perspective, I've really noticed the difference at the Nest with the crowds growing, and I'd describe it almost as sort of a family feel. Everyone knows everyone. How does it feel from on the pitch perspective?
Yeah, massively. Fans are incredible. We've got such a great fan base, and it's so nice. Like even on away days, like you lot travel just to come and watch us play. Where, like I say, back in the day, you probably had a couple of parents, but now you've got people like giving up their Sunday to come and watch us play. And sometimes it is so like surreal. Like go into Carrow Road or the Nest, and you turn around and someone's got their name on the back of their shirt. Like that would never happen back then. But yeah, like I say, the fans just push us to succeed, and I'm really excited to play a couple of home games at the Nest because they just make us play so much better.
Yeah, I suppose a big one coming up is Fulham. Maybe touch to the fans on how it's such a big game and maybe why they should come and support you there.
Yeah, I think, well, if you look at the league, obviously Fulham are ahead of us by 1 point. So Fulham for us is going to be a massive game. We try and not think too much about it because we can only control what we can control. So we focus on our game plan and we focus on how we're going to set up against Fulham. But the one things we can control is our fans and how many we want to the game, and we want as many as we can because we want that environment with like people come to the Nest and we want to put on a performance. So I don't know if it, and I think if you look at recent results and stuff, naturally, I think it just gives us that confidence boost. If let's go and prove to the fans what we're like. Um, so yeah, we want, especially the Fulham game, we want as many fans as we can, just to help us really.
No, it's excellent. I think the reverse game for Fulham was at Craven Cottage, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think when you go and play at these Premier League grounds, I think you mentioned it earlier. Obviously, it shows how far women's football's come. But how does that feel as a player to be able to go and play at those kind of facilities?
Oh yeah, like it's incredible. We have played. I've played back in the day on just some park fields. So to go from just playing at the park with your mates to then playing at Craven Cottage, like you say, or QPR's Loftus Road or Carrow Road, it's a massive change. So it is very nice that I got to experience when I first started to what I'm getting to experience now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If
no,
you could
if
you could go to any Premier League stadium or Championship stadium, do you have one in mind that you'd like to do?
No, I think I'm quite happy with Carrow Road. I've not just said that. I am a massive Norwich fan anyway, but no, I don't think there's. It's nice to play at different grounds, but I wouldn't say there's one. Like, don't get me wrong, Craven Cottage was incredible, but I don't know. I just think for me, it's all about the atmosphere. If you create, I'm even happy with a Nest as long as you create that atmosphere. I could play anywhere as long as you've got your fans and you've got your atmosphere. I think you could be anywhere. I honestly do.
Yeah. I think obviously, as you mentioned, that Fulham game, and I think actually it's probably a bigger game for them, isn't it, as much as it is for you, because they know what you guys have done over across the whole season, really. Am I right in thinking that the Fulham game's the only one that you've lost in the league? And actually,
yes.
Okay. So I think that they all know that going into that they've picked up an iffy result, I guess, at the weekend. So look, I think you've got every trying to think of the right words to use. Confidence, I guess, going into that one anyway. So yeah, good luck to you. Hope it goes well. And sorry, I did want to mention Sue as well. Yeah, who I saw yesterday, who was fan of the year last year. It's always great to see Sue. She was there watching you yesterday. Anyway, so looking ahead, what, I don't think you've touched on some of these already. What are your personal goals this season, and perhaps obviously for next season as well? And where do you hope this Norwich City Women team can go together? What's the limit, if there is one?
I think personal goals this year is just to help the team succeed and getting that promotion. I think we all know that's our main goal this year, is to get promoted. So I think that's what we're going to be focused on. And I think if we put some more money into the club and we have more players come in, I think honestly in the next couple of years, 3-5 years, we can be in the WSL. But I think, like I say, the women's game is growing, and that will just continue to grow. And I think Norwich City Women are in the best place they are at the minute. They've obviously, you've got people on contracts, you've got obviously a head coach now paid full time, so it's definitely going in the right direction. It definitely is.
And the job that Flo Allen's doing at the moment, I mean, she's, could you comment on that? How much day-to-day involvement does she have with the players?
Yeah, Flo is always around. We see it every single time. Like every time we're training, she's always popping in, just saying hello. And obviously in the background, she's obviously doing loads of things as well. So her job in general is very busy. But yeah, Flo is always around. She's always touching base with players and just seeing how they are and how we can like develop as a club. So
that's amazing. Izzi, do you have? We usually do a random question of the week on our other podcasts, Tash. So I'm hoping Izzi might have one lined up. You don't have to do the chair.
Put it on the spot now.
I know.
You didn't give me the plan for this.
That's why it's called the random question of the week.
Random question.
Yeah, Morgan gets the whole episode to plan for this.
True.
Maybe if you could design your own away kit, what colours and design maybe would it be, and inspiration would you take for it?
That's a good question, that.
There you go.
That is a very good question. I actually really like the pink kit. I really like it. And when that came out, I think that's one of the best kits, to be fair. But that's obviously been done. I'm trying to think of something that we hadn't really done. I do like the proper retro clubs, the shirts we had back in the day. We had I can't remember the stripes we had. We had the dark green and the green. I really like that as well. So maybe I'd bring back a bit of retro in. And I'd mix it up.
Was that the Lotus
completely
kit?
different. The Lotus one.
Yeah. What a kit that was. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I think I'd bring back some retro stuff back in. But yeah.
Yeah, I like that. It sounds quite exciting.
Yeah.
Get someone to design it for next season, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Izzi? What would be your away kit of choice?
I quite liked the purple one a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah.
With the it was giraffe patterned. I quite like that one. I like the sort of simple ones as such. So maybe sort of not a plain colour, that would be too simple, but maybe a little one colour design thing. But not blue. Any other thing.
Right.
But most of the away kits are good.
Yeah, 100%. I like the. I'll tell you the one I liked was the fluorescent. Had fluorescent yellow and green on this bit here and underneath, and it was the Coleman's mustard kit. It was navy blue.
Oh yeah.
And it was that was. If they remade that, I'd buy it immediately. There wouldn't even be a conversation to be had. Right, Tash. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, you're absolutely fine.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Just before we let you go, obviously, just to talk a little bit about the men's team, there's been a bit of an upturn in form, shall we say, over the last month or so. I mean, you say you're a fan. Just talk to us a little bit about, probably some of your best players for Norwich and who you like in the current squad, I guess.
Yeah. Back in the day, there's so many different players. because I went to go watch back in the day as well. Like Adam Drury,
Yeah.
I just thought he was a great player. Simeon Jackson, he was always one of my favourites, and he obviously now works for the club, don't he?
Yeah.
So I've seen him around training. So yeah, you have to mention the Grant Holts and the Wes Hoolahans. They were always really creative players, and so yeah. I think at the minute, obviously we had a bad run of a spell, but I think they're now starting to gel together.
Yeah.
We're getting new players in, like that Ali. I thought he was incredible when I watched the other day.
Yeah.
Really, really creative, and I think he can bring so much to the squad.
Mm.
But yeah, I think we're now starting to gel as a team and seeing how each player plays. And
Mm.
like you say, when I played with Holly Kennard, I just know where she's going to be.
Yeah.
And I think you need that in the squad.
Mm.
But yeah,
No,
can't wait to go
100%.
watch him again.
No, that'd be, yes, definitely. I think it's funny you mentioned Holly, because I was just about to say Ali Ahmed reminds me so much of how Holly plays.
Yeah, he's
Just gets
incredible. I watched him the other
brilliant.
day and I thought he's so incredible.
Yeah, given he's only played a game and a half in
Yeah.
England, it's yeah, he's been absolutely and he scored against West Brom in the pink kit as well,
Yeah.
which is
No.
yeah, 100%. Right, okay, I think we should perhaps finish there. So yeah, thanks once again, Tash. Is there anyone you want to give a little shout out to before we finish?
Don't think so. I just want to say though, just make sure you come to the Fulham game, because the fans honestly this season have been incredible and we couldn't have done it without you. So yeah, just make sure you come down to the Fulham game because we really need you there.
Do you know what the date of that is?
Yeah, I think is it the 8th or the 9th of February?
Yeah, we'll put that on the screen anyway for people to.
It's just Sunday. It's in a couple of weeks anyway.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll make sure when we put this out, we'll put it out before obviously that game, just obviously to try and get a few people down for you. I mean, you do get a good following anyway, don't you? But we'll try and have a sellout down at the Nest.
Lovely.
What's next for you, Izzy?
QPR game, I suppose. Then Fulham.
That'll be a tough game. That will be a tough game. But yeah.
Yeah, they give you a decent game at Carrow Road, didn't they, despite the scoreline? So anyway,
yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was good. Everyone else watching, please do like and subscribe on the channel for more great content. We are also available on Facebook, Instagram, and X. You can watch the show on YouTube as well as listen to us on Apple and Spotify. We are proudly supported by Master Seal and Pie Design and a part of the TalkSport Fan Network. I've been Jez Davies.
I've been Izzy Basie-Fisher.
And I've been Tash Snelling.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.